Good day, I welcome you back, Dr. Scott, your online headache doc. The only doctor of any kind certified by both the American and international boards of commonsensical medicine. Welcome to this week's episode of Relief at Last, what your doctor won't tell you about your migraines, your headaches, and your ongoing pain. After last week's episode on medication dependency, headaches and migraines, many questions have arisen. So this week, we're going to delve just a little bit deeper into the topic of medication dependency or medication overuse, migraines and headaches. We're going to get into the physiology, in other words, how do these medications actually affect the function of your body, and how do they result in actually returning increased and more severe migraines and headaches over the course of time? We're going to discuss some medical publications and research that actually support this, and most importantly, how do you overcome medication dependency, migraines, and headaches? Because after all, medication is the most commonly prescribed mode of treatment for those of us who have battled, or those of you that continue to battle, ongoing migraines and headaches. Remember, we've said this time and time again on the Relief at Last podcast, there is no such thing as a magic pill, shot, potion, gadget, gizmo, chiropractic treatment, therapy, countless ways to treat or countless ways to attempt to manage your migraine and headache symptoms, all the while continuing to ignore the real, true cause. And secondly, if you don't know the cause, if you don't know or your doctor doesn't know what's going on inside of your body that's resulting in your migraine and headache symptoms, chances of finding significant, long-lasting relief become slim to none. So, finding and fixing the true cause of the problem really is the only true way. So, let's kind of talk about the physiology of medication, and more specifically, the physiology of the most commonly prescribed migraine and headache medications, and then we're going to discuss the physiology of some of the other most commonly prescribed medications in healthcare/medical treatment today. So, when we get migraines or headaches, the blood vessels inside of our head will tend to suddenly dilate, to enlarge. And these enlarged, lax blood vessels sometimes can result in a throbbing or pounding type of headache. And in addition to the quote-unquote headache type symptoms, they can result in other what we call associated symptoms. Some of the most common associated symptoms when blood vessels dilate, and they may suddenly constrict, and then they will suddenly dilate, are dizziness or lightheadedness, feeling sick to your stomach, maybe even vomiting, brain fog. Brain fog is a common symptom that comes up each and every day without exception in my day-to-day practice. If the symptoms remain unaddressed, if the cause of the symptoms remains uncorrected, difficulty with comprehension, balance, there are countless symptoms that can arise when you affect vasodilation or dilation and constriction of the blood vessels in your body, specifically in your head. Heart rate is another common one. So, when you get migraine and headache symptoms and the blood vessels dilate and become lax, this can result in the symptoms that you're experiencing. So, the goal of many migraine and headache medications is to constrict these blood vessels to attempt to temporarily reduce or manage your symptoms. Some of the more commonly prescribed palliative treatments, in other words, medication that is prescribed when you are experiencing migraine and headache symptoms, are the triptans. This may include rizatriptan, sumatriptan being one of the most common. Their goal is to attempt to reduce the dilation or constrict the blood vessels. Likewise, over-the-counter medications. I will name Excedrin in particular because they have promoted themselves as the headache medicine since I was a child in the 60s and 70s. Those over-the-counter medications contain a dose of caffeine, and the goal of the caffeine in these over-the-counter medications is once again to help constrict the blood vessels, attempting to manage or control your migraine and headache symptoms. So, here's the problem. Medication I am not opposed to the use of medication when it is used appropriately and it is not overused, abused, causing us to become dependent on these medications. So the longer you take these medications for your migraines and headaches, what will inevitably happen is medication that seemed to provide some relief in the past, although temporary relief, for some reason just doesn't seem to work so good anymore. And when you take these medications that are designed to constrict the blood vessels in your head, and your body, quote unquote, gets used to these medications, what will happen is your blood vessels will constrict. However, this is immediately followed by dilation of the blood vessels, which results in returning migraine and headache symptoms time and time and time again. So here is the intended purpose of medication for migraine and headache sufferers. Medication, whether it's over-the-counter or prescribed, should be used to temporarily reduce or control your migraine and headache symptoms while you have the cause of the problem addressed, not as the quote-unquote solution, because there is no magic pill that will address the true cause of your migraines and headaches. It doesn't exist. It never has existed, and it never will exist. You are not having migraines and headaches that continue to return because you haven't found the right drug yet. So, medication can be used to temporarily reduce, control, or manage your symptoms, but absolutely do not ignore the real true cause, because chances are better than not that the cause will continue to worsen over time. Medication that used to work just doesn't work anymore, and the cause of the problem can actually result in long-term and even irreversible damage. Don't ignore the cause. Use medication sparingly while you're having the cause of your migraines and headaches addressed. There was a Harvard Health publication from Harvard Medical School that has documented specific upper spine nerve pressure that results in dilation of the blood vessels in your head that causes migraines and headaches. This is just one small example because research has been published, scientific papers have been published for decades and decades and decades, proving that one of the most, if not the most common cause of our migraine and headache symptoms is not a problem inside of your head, but rather specific upper spinal disorders that result in compression of the spinal canal and nerves. The compression of the spinal canal and nerves is what can result in the dilation and constriction of blood vessels. This is the junction box. This is the control box of the human body that controls dilation and constriction of blood vessels, heart rate, blood pressure. All of these things, among many other functions, are controlled in this junction box in the top of your spine. So this is a reason that the vast majority, and you've heard people say 99% of the time, I'm going to give you an exact number. In my 31 and a half years in private practice, 99% of my patients, who number in the thousands, have had negative or unremarkable studies done, including examinations, neurological examinations, MRIs and CAT scans of their head, of their brain, which all are seemingly normal. If you look in the wrong place, you're never going to find the true cause of your migraine and headache symptoms. We need to focus just a bit below where the brain and the spinal cord meet, where your head and the upper part of your spine meet. And this is something we're going to discuss in more depth in our next episode next week. So here is the key. Proper diagnosis of the true cause of your migraine and headache symptoms. Not, let's jump on the medical merry-go-round of trying this and trying that and trying this and hoping somehow you're going to find a magic pill. It doesn't exist. So here's a couple of things. You really have two choices and two choices only if you are truly seeking help, if you are truly looking for significant, long-lasting relief from your migraines and headaches. Here's your first option. Keep looking for the magic pill. You can visit your primary care doctor, who can refer you to the neurologist, who can refer you to the pain management specialist. You can go to the chiropractor, you can go to the massage therapist. You can try any type of treatment you want in an attempt to temporarily manage your migraine and headache symptoms. However, there's a good chance you are going to end up on this merry-go-round for life. I've seen it too many times before. I don't want that to happen to you. So option number one, keep looking for the magic pill, shot, or potion, hoping somehow you're going to find some kind of significant and long-lasting relief. Number two, you need to focus on pinpointing the source of the spinal or spinal canal and nerve compression, which again, according to decades upon decades of research, is located in the upper part of your spine. Then, and only then, can a treatment plan be personalized for you that's going to actually help remove the nerve and spinal canal compression, thereby reducing the incidence of vasodilation and constriction and the return or rebound, as they say in medicine, of your migraine and headache symptoms. So I'd like to give you a summary today. When you have migraine and headache symptoms, the blood vessels inside of your head dilate. And the dilation of those blood vessels, as well as the constriction of those blood vessels, is controlled in a junction box in the brain stem that connects your brain to your spinal cord, where your head and your upper spine, your neck, meet. So if we're looking in the wrong place, inside of your head, the chances of finding the true cause are slim. So pinpointing the true cause of the spinal canal and or nerve compression in the upper part of your spine is the key to pinpointing the real true cause, which can lead you to a treatment plan not to temporarily manage or attempt to treat your symptoms temporarily, but to remove the pressure, remove that repeated dilation and constriction of the blood vessels, and address the cause of your migraines and headaches once and for all. This is what the medical research has proven for 50, 60, 70 plus years. Do not ignore the research in exchange for just another differing or conflicting professional opinion. Please, I beg you, share this podcast with someone you know, someone you care about that continues to battle ongoing migraines, headaches, and pain. This is the goal of our podcast each week. Thank you for listening. Next week, we're going to delve into more specific diagnosis. What test do you definitely need to do to properly diagnose the cause of your migraines and headaches, and which tests are simply leading you in the wrong direction and, quite frankly, a waste of your time and money. I'm Dr. Scott, your online headache doc. Those are the facts. And everything else, well, it's just another opinion. The information contained in this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not meant to substitute for your doctor or healthcare provider's advice or recommendations. It is based on Dr. Scott's personal experience battling debilitating migraines for years, as well as his more than 31 years in private practice, specializing exclusively in migraine, headache, and chronic pain disorders. Copyright 2024 by Milagros Media, LLC.